Hello and greetings from Barcelona. This is the Mobile World Congress 2016. Over 100,000 people coming here to have a look at what the greatest and next big thing is in the world of mobility. And as you can see, as we enter Hall 2, all the big players from Samsung to Huawei to LG and ZTE and IBM, all here displaying their latest wares of what the next big thing is in the world of the mobile network. So you might think that water is something that cannot be monitored or used in the world of technology, but that's not exactly true. You are engaged at Ericsson in water, and how does this project specifically work?
So about a year ago, we were contacted by the Chattahoochee Riverkeeper organization, who's a completely voluntary organization in Atlanta, Georgia. And they wanted Ericsson's help to connect their sensors, their water quality sensors, to the internet.
And what do the sensors do? So you've got the sensors sitting in this area. What kind of information are you gathering?
So their initial sensor was very high cost, and they wanted a way to connect it to the internet. So we said, well, your first problem is the cost of your sensor. So we addressed that problem by developing a very low-cost sensor for them that does the same types of measurements that a very high-cost sensor does. Conductivity, turbidity, and temperature, which are all very key indicators of pollutant levels in the water.
So you've got these sensors, and in real time, as I can see in the background, you're getting information on how polluted and what the temperature of your water is, right?
Absolutely. We plan to deploy these sensors in river systems for source drinking water, and we can monitor in real time, as you said, the quality of the water condition at that time. In real time, the person can be sitting behind their desk and monitor the pollutant levels in the water.
Is there anything else that one can pick up with analytics and, using perhaps an algorithm monitoring the trends of where the water's going? And I suppose you can pick up as the pollutant levels are going up, for example, if somebody nearby or a factory nearby might be polluting water. Is that the kind of information you're able to pick up using these sensors?
Absolutely. We want to try to make the organizations that are responsible for the water quality to be proactive in their approaches. And this allows them to be, proactive in monitoring potential sewage spills or industrial waste.
How does one deploy sensors to monitor the quality of the water, for example?
So we put the sensor in the water, we anchor it to the riverbed or stream or the source water, a location where they need to be deployed. Typically, they go in locations where there have been problematic areas. So you can, again, do early detection. Then you connect the water sensor to a wireless modem device, which sends the data across the wireless network to a cloud. And then the cloud down to an analytics dashboard where the person can see it in real time on a tablet or laptop.
If I had to meet you in the street and find out, listen, Charles, what exactly does your sensor do? How would you describe it?
So our sensor monitors the quality of water, measuring a couple of metrics that are really important, such as conductivity, turbidity, which is how cloudy the water is, and temperature, which we use for the math calculations because we do all of our measurements at 25 degrees Celsius.
How difficult is it to, create a sensor like this? Because we're living in a world with sensors, the Internet of Things. This is another example of a great example of the Internet of Things. How difficult was it to develop this kind of technology?
Well, our group, I work out of a part of Ericsson in Atlanta, Georgia, called the GPSO Idea Factory. And we actually use lean startup techniques. And so to develop this idea, we first had to get a lot of domain knowledge. So we went out, we worked with our customer, the Riverkeeper. We actually tried to learn as much as we could. And then we went back and we started working, and we iterated and iterated and iterated until we got a sensor that was viable. So currently we've deployed some with 3G, and the battery is lasting a couple of months. But we're also deploying it with LTE Cat 1 power saving mode, and that has a battery last a long life of between 2 and 11 years, depending on how often you're polling the data.
And what's your vision for this kind of technology? Is it to basically have this in every river? Are you able to put this in a dam, for example, in a sewage works? I'm thinking of dozens of applications as I'm talking to you.
Yes, well, access to clean drinking water is a human right, and we really believe that the whole world should be able to have clean water. And so this is just one part of the puzzle of providing clean water to the world. Yes, in terms of other uses outside of nonprofit type monitoring, industrial uses, we've had a lot of interest from various companies for oil and gas, and for example detecting phenol in the oceans or other types of applications for this type of monitoring. These types of sensors are used not only to detect, but to also understand where the source of the pollution is so that it can be stopped. People ask, are you cleaning up the rivers? And the answer is, while we don't filter the river water, we remove the pollutants by tracking the sources and stopping them.